close to where people needs to be thrown in jail. There are a lot of people on the left that need to be thrown in jail. Again, it's all about manipulating a system to stay in power. That's it.
What I worry about, though, is, and again, I like the line has to be drawn for somewhere. It's like if you are really going to be just totally morally, ethically bankrupt, leading this country, or aspects of this country like Fauci, for example. Like, I would love to see an actual, case against him, but, he's been pardoned. So, that
another disasters that need to be held accountable for this entire. But, we all wonder in this country, actually the one that truly care about this country, like myself, we all wonder, are people really going to be held accountable?
Right.
They literally gotten away with murder.
Yep.
Literally. And
the case of Fauci, mass murder twice.
we the people have grown very frustrated but the wheel of justice turns very slowly. Yep. So we all have to be patient. But we all hope that during this presidency, people who really, really committed some serious crime, like the Comey and all these people, they all need to be held accountable because it's sad.
Liz Cheney, who led the January 6th.
Liz Cheney, what a sour character.
Yeah.
Anyway, so also on the note, I had the pleasure to have personally met Trump 3 times at Mar-a-Lago.
Okay.
I was invited there by friends that I knew were very influential in Palm Beach because I did go down to Palm Beach. I had some relation down there. And so I met the guy 3 times. And my opinion of him is very different than the majority of people, simply because they hate him for they don't have any idea why.
Right.
They just don't like the man.
Yeah.
And the reason why they vote the way they vote is because they don't like the man. They never looked at the reason why.
They don't like what's reported about him, more importantly, right?
More importantly.
Yeah.
But when you see the background of what this guy has done for New York, for a lot of, there is a lot of positive to be said about him.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, well, I don't like him.
Yeah.
And that's it. The people that say, I don't like him, you cannot reason with these people to understand their reasoning. You cannot.
I've literally had someone that not only stated they don't like Trump and, like there's like no redeeming qualities, not saying it explicitly that way, but went even a step further and explicitly said there's nothing like someone in the Trump family can do, because Trump had an uncle that was crucial in the Manhattan Project as a physicist. She was basically like blowing up, it's like, no, no one in the Trump family, like just for having the name Trump, and it's like there is very much a Trump derangement syndrome.
Is.
And
it's alive.
Right. It's like, you brought it up, like have an open mind, like when you came into this country, right?
Well, I didn't have a choice. I didn't know any better.
Well, some people, don't know any better, and they still just dig deep into, what they don't know any better about, right?
The only reason why I became an American citizen, I had a green card.
Yep.
Now, originally, my green card was issued to me for life.
Okay.
And then some smartass in Washington decided, oh, no, you need to renew it every 10 years. That's what I was doing. And the cost was like $400 or $500 to renew the card. Well, to me, that was a deal. I didn't really have any reason to become an American citizen.
Yep.
However, through the first term of Obama, I saw what this man was doing. I said, this cannot be. I mean, forget the fact that you just love the man because he's eloquent, because he's this, the man is a total disaster business-wise.
Yep.
And you cannot run this country like this. And the damage that he has done today, we're still suffering from all of that.
I agree.
And it's sad. It's just plain sad that young people, then of course the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. If you're raised in a family of loonies, chances are you're going to stay a loony yourself and you're going to raise your kids to be loonies. But if you are raised in a family of conservative that educates you as to what this country is all about, how this country should, then you born and raise a conservative.
let's just say I voted differently than my parents this election. And then, yeah, I grew up revering President Obama, you know, because like you're saying, very eloquent, presidential in, you know, the traditional sense. But then the more and more I grew up, looked into him as a president and his background previously, his time since, very much a stereotypical wolf in sheep's clothes, right? You know, like, hey, may give you the better exterior shell, but the moment you turn around, you know, gonna stab you in the back versus, you know, Trump, if he doesn't like you, you know, and I do think Trump is a lot more agreeable of a person and will try to like you, and maybe to too much of a fault that if you like Trump, he's going to probably like you back, you know, in like the brown nosing sort of sense, right? But at least if he doesn't like you, you're going to see the knife coming, right? You know,
well, not necessarily the knife, but he's going to make you aware that there are some faux pas that you have committed, and he's going to try to still sit down and negotiate. Look at what just happened with him,
like Mamdani.
With Mamdani, okay? Mamdani all of a sudden,
I agree
who now
Trump,
is being criticized by his flock.
Yeah,
Mamdani just was totally enamored by what Trump, and he badmouthed Trump. I mean, the man was totally disgraceful.
Yeah.
And he meets Trump, and all of a sudden he becomes one of the sheep simply because you cannot avoid Trump's power.
Bravado. Yeah.
Oh, he is something else. Anyway.
Yeah. I know you brought your map here. I would love to touch on. Yeah, I'd love to touch on that. But going back really quick to when you were first coming into the U.S., what, whether it's politically or just culturally, was most unexpected? Like, obviously, you know, the United States is known for being this cultural powerhouse, you know, as long as I've been growing up. Was it much different than the movies and whatever you had seen or heard of the United States versus like when you actually, you know, landed and maybe within your first couple years? Like, what really kind of...
To me, the country back then was grand.
Okay, yep.
You know, when again sailing under the Verrazano Bridge, seeing this, everybody is huge.
Yep.
Everything is huge. The yellow taxi in New York, the buses, the smell. I remember my first burger at Howard Johnson in Times Square, where you basically had this fat burger with ketchup and French fries, and then you had to share a banana split.